Hey YouTube. Recently I have been looking at a lot of the videos here about people's coming out stories and their trials and tribulations and just a lot of stuff that they've had to go through just to, I guess, discover who they are and, I guess, be happy with themselves and having people accept them for who they are. Well, oh, this is my coming out story. Of course, it's 10 years in the making. It's high time I do it, so I'm just gonna do it. Anyways, my coming out story starts like this. About 10 years ago, summer of 2001, uh, I was 17 and I was talking with a good friend of mine on the phone. And, I never thought for a minute, I mean, she's going to be judgmental, she's going to uh, look at me differently, or just treat me different. So, it just so happened that I was on the phone with her, and we were talking late, and I was falling asleep, and it just so happened that I just kind of just blurted it out to her. I was like, okay, yeah, look, I'm gay. Um, I mean, it just really, I didn't really throw her for a whim or anything. She didn't know, but I mean, she didn't really care. I don't mean that in a bad way, but she didn't care. So that's the good thing about it. Of course, to this day, I still talk to her. Um, but of course, then there was the issue of coming out to family, other friends, associates, whatnot. That was a little more difficult. Well, this part, it was almost like by accident, but I mean, uh, it just so happened that I was on the phone one evening with my ex boyfriend, and it just so happened that we were getting off the phone. Of course, we were both falling asleep, and before I hung up, I told him, I said, I love you, and he's like, oh, well, I love you too. Well, it just so happened that my mom, she had picked up the phone. I didn't even know she had picked up the phone, but she did. And that's when she called me into the living room. We had a nice little talk, and that's, of course, when I told her. Of course, I try to keep my private life separate from my social life. And to this day, we don't really talk about it. I don't really talk about it with family. Like I said, I try to keep that part of my life separate from my social life. Uh, but basically, before all this happened, when I was 16, there was this guy, mentor, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? And just so happened that one night, uh, he was bringing me back from taking care of some stuff, and I told him, I said, would you get upset if I asked if I could kiss you? And he, of course, didn't decline. He said, okay. And I did, and that's when I knew. Of course, I've had girlfriends in the past and everything, but they just didn't work out too well. I kind of always knew. I always had that feeling in the back of my mind, but it was like I wasn't certain, and I didn't want to, I guess, jump to conclusions. So I remember technically the first person I really, I guess you could say, came out to was this girl that I'm actually still really good friends with to this day. Um, and at that time, I was about maybe 12, 13, somewhere around there. So this is way before 2001. Anyways, um, I mean, further and further down the road, I guess it got a little bit easier to tell people. Of course, it was also harder to tell some people. Some people still don't know. They might know now since I'm doing this video, but hey, I guess no better way to find out than through this. Anyways, I remember this one good friend of mine. Well, not really a friend anymore, but I remember I told him a few years ago. This was after we were out of high school and everything, and we haven't really talked since. And fast forward a few years later, as of now, high school reunion's coming up next year, and I think it might be pretty interesting to see what people will say, because I, of course, came out to some people on Facebook, people that I've known for years. Some people were very, very shocked. Some people not so much. I know there was this one young lady I used to talk to, no longer friends with her, but I remember when I told her when we were in school, she practically almost passed out. She was like, "No, not you, not you. Can't believe it's you." I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, I don't really put a label on myself. I don't think anybody should really put a label on themselves. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, basically, being gay doesn't define you. I mean, like I guess you could say the stereotypical, the stereotypes that occur, that a man is like very artistic, flaming, artsy, flamboyant, stuff like that. That's stereotypical. Or a woman that's very masculine, like sports, all that other stuff. That's pretty, like I said, that's stereotypical, because gays and lesbians come in all shapes and sizes, young, old, in between, whatnot, da. But basically, that's my story, or at least a part of it. I'll probably end up posting another one on here later on, probably before the end of the year, or at the beginning of next year. I'll try to post another one. If this one gets good reviews or good ratings or whatever. But again, that is my story. And please rate and subscribe. And leave comments, please. As always, thank you for watching my videos and subscribing and everything else. So I will talk to everyone later. And happy holidays to everyone.